Y'all can do better than that. We packed this place out for a pitch competition. Come on. All right, continue to come and find a seat. If you can, please squeeze into the middle of your row so that we have as many available seats as possible. We want everybody to feel comfortable. We're going to try to get you out of here before 8 o'clock. We have a packed agenda, okay? My name is Rob Bradham. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Dalton Chamber of Commerce, and I'll be serving as your MC tonight. And I want to talk a little bit about why entrepreneurship is important to us here in Dalton. We are who we are today as a community because of entrepreneurship in the floor covering industry. We invented modern day carpet, we perfected it, and we sold it to the entire world. We went from an agricultural community 100 years ago to the leader in manufacturing in the United States today. Can we be proud of that? Absolutely. You know, at the beginning of last year, we launched what we call Believe Greater Dalton, which is our 5-year strategic plan for this community. About 2 years of planning before that went into Believe Greater Dalton. We ended up coming up with 6 strategies that we feel we need to focus on as a community to move our community forward. Those strategies are downtown revitalization. Who's enjoyed what's happening in the downtown the last 3 or 4 years? We've made tremendous progress thanks to our partners like the Downtown Development Authority on what's happening downtown. Entrepreneurship. We're a town built on entrepreneurship, and during the recession and since the recession, we've done nothing up until last year to support entrepreneurs. We changed that. We founded the Dalton Innovation Accelerator last year, a physical hub for entrepreneurs downtown. We're currently incubating 3 businesses. We've got more on the way. Pitch Dia is a part of the Dalton Innovation Accelerator. So you are here tonight because of the Dalton Innovation Accelerator. This is a program of the Dalton Innovation Accelerator, which Believe Greater Dalton is happy to be a partner in with Barrett Properties and Inventure IT and many, many others. Third, education. Education is critical. I don't have to explain that to you guys. You guys are going to hear pitches later on tonight from some of our local school kids, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to be impressed. You're going to be impressed. Third, economic development. We can never stop creating jobs. That's always going to be important, especially in a community that is dominated by one industry. We need to diversify. So economic development. Housing. We have a severe lack of housing in this community for middle income earners. So our white collar workers who are earning between $40,000 and $100,000, we just don't have the housing inventory they want here. And finally, community pride. When I came to Dalton 4 years ago, we had a real self-confidence problem in this community. We've largely corrected that. And the fact that we have a full house here tonight to listen to entrepreneurs pitch their ideas is evidence that we've overcome in large measure those self-confidence issues. But entrepreneurship is at the core of who we are as a community, and it has been that way since Catherine Evans Whitener invented the chenille bedspread 100 years ago. A woman, a female entrepreneur in the South, 100 years ago, creating what is today a multi-billion-dollar international industry. If we can't be proud of that story, I don't know what story we can be proud of. Last year, we did our first Pitch Dia competition, and our winner was a young man named Trip Phillips. And I'd like to welcome Trip to join me on stage. If y'all don't remember, there's this TV show called Shark Tank. Trip not only got on Shark Tank, he got an investment from Mr. Wonderful. Trip, tell us about that.
We'll trade. It It was the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. I don't do that much.
I know.
But I'm glad to say I did that, and this prepared me for it more than anything else I did. I'm happy that I won it. It helped us in the long run tremendously. Without it, we'd have probably failed. And I want to thank Rob for supporting us and the whole community.
We'll just share. We love each other. It's okay. It wasn't just me that supported you, Tripp. It was a whole community that got behind you and supported you and loved to see you succeed. And I'm just proud that you're here tonight. Tripp is going to help me throughout the night, sort of MC the program. He's going to help us announce the winners at the end, and he's going to be doing the K-12 portion of this event. Let me talk a little bit about the structure that we're going to have tonight, okay? Last year, we had 5 pitches. Last year we had 3 pitches. This year we've got 5, okay? So we're going to have more pitches than we had last year. We got 4 judges. I'm going to introduce them in a minute. But what's different this year than last year is that you guys will have the opportunity to vote for your favorite pitch. And your votes will actually count towards who wins, okay? Now, if we'd done that last year, what do you think the margin would have been last year for you, Tripp?
I hope higher.
Huge. Who's going to vote against a 12-year-old kid? Anybody? We don't have any 12-year-old kids in the main pitch competition. So I'm going to tell you how to vote in just a minute. The other thing we have different this year is Dalton Public Schools did their own pitch competition this year. And they had teams from across Dalton Public Schools pitch their ideas. And what we agreed to do is have the best 5 Dalton Public School teams come and pitch for us tonight. So while the judges are deliberating after the 5 main pitches, you're going to get to hear from young people like Tripp in this community who are budding entrepreneurs that have great ideas. She's got a mic for you, bud. Who have great ideas, and you're going to be impressed by what's coming out of our public schools. Let's talk about prizes. I'm going to let Tripp talk about prizes. He won our top prize last year. Tell him about the prizes, Tripp.
So first place for the adult competition gets $5,000. Second place gets $500, and third place as well gets $500. K-12 gets $1,000 if you get first place, and best booth is $500 for K-12 as well.
If you didn't notice, that's more prize money than we did last year. We're also offering more than $20,000 in goods and services to the top 3 pitchers tonight. All right, let me talk about voting, then I'm going to introduce the judges. Right now, you can go vote for your favorite booth, okay? What you need to do is follow the instructions on the card that you were given. Go to slido.com, that's SLIDO.com. Enter PitchDia as the event code. Click join, and you can vote for your favorite booth. Later on, after the pitches are done, you'll be able to vote for your favorite pitch. And then after the K-12 pitches are done, you'll get to vote for your favorite K-12 pitch, okay? Now, on the K-12 pitch, you guys are deciding the outcome. And that team's going to win a prize, $1,000. So your vote is 100% of the total for that team. Judges. Our first judge really requires no introduction in this community. His name is Pete Dosha. He is the epitome of what it means to be an entrepreneur. He was the founder and CEO of U.S. Floors. He is now still the CEO of U.S. Floors, but he's also the executive vice president of Shaw Hard Surface. Pete, welcome. Our second judge was here with us last year, and he liked it so much that he said, hey, invite me back next year. So we did. His name is Jamie Hamilton. He is the managing director of Atlanta Seed Company down in Atlanta, and they are actively incubating businesses just like the ones you're going to hear from tonight. Jamie, thank you for coming back. Our third judge is new for us this year. He's basically in the same business that Jamie is in, except he's doing it in Chattanooga. Santosh Shankar is the managing director of Dynamo Ventures in Chattanooga. Thank you for being here with us. And finally, Marilyn Helms. Dr. Marilyn Helms also requires no introduction in this community. She is the dean of our Wright School of Business at Dalton State College. Marilyn, thank you. You guys want to hear some pitches? Yes. All right. Folks, please welcome to the stage Nisha Butler with Scrap Sports.
Heck yeah. Hello, my name is Nisha Butler, and I'm the founder and CEO of Scrap Sports, a sports scrapbooking media platform. So before I talk to you about my startup, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I love playing basketball since the age of 9 years old, and apparently I like to shoot a lot because I still have the New York City scoring record for males and females. I went up to play my college career at Georgia Tech, where I was the ACC Rookie of the Year and led the league in scoring. I went on to play professional basketball for New York Liberty and overseas, but due to various injuries, I retired early. I went on to be a sports reporter for several media outlets, such as TMZ Sports and CBS Sports, where I covered the Atlanta Hawks and Atlanta Falcons. Tragedy struck my life when I lost my mother recently, and I had to clean out her basement. And I realized that she kept everything from my sports history. She kept videos, photos, old articles. In fact, this is the only photo I have of my parents together at a game. So this was obviously of importance to me. I started taking pictures of pics, posting on social media, calling old coaches, and to any athletes out here, calling out my teammates and talking a little trash. But I had a problem. The content that I had wasn't static, because Facebook has a rotating feed, Instagram is way too unorganized, and Snapchat, my legacy disappears. And LinkedIn is just not the place for it. Enter in Scrap Sports. We allow parents, like my mother, to easily store, share, and create their kids' sports memory in a scrapbook. So I hear that Dalton has a really tight football squad. And there's this guy named Osvaldo Beltran that when I Google him, or when you Google him, you find that he just got a college scholarship offer for Tennessee Tech. But there's nothing behind the scenes. We don't know where he came from. We don't know if he played pee-wee football or anything like that. This is where Scrap Sports comes in. Now, I do know that he's the first person in his family to get a college scholarship. And he's a part of that 1% of kids that actually go on and play after high school. Now, let's stay here for a little bit. 99% of kids that play sports across the US do not go on and play college. But they're warriors just like me and Osvaldo's. They are a part of a team, a brotherhood and sisterhood of team sports. But where do parents put all that content? Nowhere. But they are a part of the ecosystem of sports as well. Here's where I see the opportunity. Scrap Sports is not a recruiting site. I emphasize that because we're a platform that stores the memories of why we play the game, for team, competition, and for the love of the game. Now, this love of the game is a $15 billion youth sports industry. There are 40 million kids that actually play between ages of 12 and 18. We don't have the number, but everybody knows that kids start early and early these days. So what we decided to do, about a year ago, we launched a very simple platform. I charged parents $50 to write an article and create a digital scrapbook for them. We did pretty well, only we did everything manual. So our customer acquisition cost was quite high, and the turnover to create a digital scrapbook was quite long. So after graduating from the Atlanta Tech Village, and we got selected for Google's Entrepreneurs, we decided to take a step back and raise our seed round to increase our team and to build out the platform. We have letters of intent from several AAU teams, big brothers, big sisters, and we're recently going to do our first pilot B2B program with Georgia Tech where we engage with alumni. Again, my name is Nisha Butler. My passion is sports. Thank you for your time, and vote for us. Questions?
Hello. So I think this is great. It stores memories. You're able to revisit those memories. There's that team spirit that you can always revisit. And there's that nostalgia there as I think back to my high school experience. What's the big vision here? How does this turn into a really big business? How do you think about scaling it and competing with, things like Google Photos that give you that balance of community, privacy? Would be curious to hear your thoughts.
So basically, I think that niche of athletics is an inch wide but a mile long, in a sense that if you think of a similar site like IMDb, it's like focuses on just movies, but it's really big because it creates communities, right? And so what I found, I'm a part of that 1%, and the recruiting and all that kind of stuff is cool, but there's some families that want to share it privately, and we'll give them that option. But a lot of parents just want community. They're not even trying to get recruited or anything. They just want to know what the other parent is doing. They want to know how another, if a parent is coaching their kids, soccer team or whatever, what do you do? Because they're a pharmacist or something. So in general, that's kind of my big vision. And as far as scalability, what we found with Georgia Tech is that once you leave playing, they don't really engage the athletes, the former alumni like myself. So that is a big market in itself there because, when we're charging parents $5 to $10 a month, we're charging Georgia Tech $15,000 for a year to curate all of their old alumni and engage them that way. So.
And could you just reiterate, if my mom were to subscribe, presumably it's parent-driven, what does she get every year?
Okay, so, well, it's free. It's a free platform to a certain point, right? And then we want to build out a database. So we found that parents actually want to see, like, who's the best trainers in an area? What camps should they go to? What are parents doing as far as all that kind of stuff? So we have a database, and then we have a vanity URL link that they can share. And then they also have the privacy, whether they want to put it public or they want to make it private. So some parents actually just want to share to their friends and family, and they don't really like the whole Facebook thing with the facial recognition and all that kind of stuff. And again, the other parents want to be public. And so the big goal is to really create the world's largest sports scrapbook, so that if anybody can type in Georgia Tech, they'll see me and Dennis Scott and Kenny Anderson and everybody in that ecosystem. And if they go to Dalton, you guys have a really vast history here, but no one really knows it because not everyone is, digitized in their legacy. So that's where I see it.
So Nisha, first of all, thank you very much for your presentation. It was very entertaining and exciting.
Yeah.
With everybody loading information on your platform, how do you secure data integrity and privacy? Because if just anything can get on the site, how do you secure that?
I'm sorry, is your question, how do we secure the profiles of the kids?
The integrity of the data
Okay.
and as well the privacy, because if I take a picture of myself and my team and I load it on your site, who's to say that the rest of my team wants to be on your site?
Well, as it stands now, everyone who plays a sport, a parent can just take a picture of a kid and post it anywhere, right? So the idea right now is that if you want your kid's data to be private, you have to send out an email notification, and only those people are allowed to see your album. If you want it to be public, you can put it to wherever you are. So we kind of just say, we let the parents decide, essentially.
But it's up to the parents or the kids to make sure that the data, what they put on their pictures or information or stats is correct. You don't verify that.
Oh no, no. Like again, we're not really focused on the stats, right? We're focused on team photos, team snapshots, videos. I mean, clearly there is a subsection which if someone wants to have stats, but out of a whole team, you only have 1 or 2 all-star players, right? The rest of them are just a part of the team. So essentially, we wrote articles on the kids of their backstory, where they come from, who they are, how they get to playing, and most we found that moms have their own story of their kids. So.
I actually went on your site yesterday, and I'm logged in right now. I have a password and everything. I found it quite interesting, but as soon as I went on your site, you asked me for my credit card information, and I just wanted to navigate the site first to see what you were offering before I was going to commit to.
Yeah, the
giving you my
spotlight
credit
section
card.
is free. So when
Okay.
you go up top to see the spotlight, that's where the news, and that's when we're creating the community.
I missed the spotlight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, right. No, we literally just launched the new site 2 weeks ago. So,
Great job.
thanks, Jamie.
I do have a question. So, as my colleague mentioned up here, early on, is this more parent-driven than the child-driven? I mean, so does that shift, though? And it really this gets to a question of who is your customer. So And that's going to lead me to sort of a follow-up question of, as you grow, as you scale, how are you thinking about doing that? I mean, youth leagues are tremendous. That seems like where you'd want people to get started in this, I would imagine. To follow just through, maybe it's youth league rec, then it gets into travel ball if they start being, that repository. But how does somebody know of Scrap Sports?
So our customer is parents, specifically moms, right? And how we reach them is that we found that if one kid on a team has something, the other parents want it. We did do some market research on other similar companies, and what they did, they partner up. Like there was this app that was just for babies, and they partner up with daycares. So we would partner. Oh, I forgot to mention Smyrna Basketball, for example. They have about 300 to 500 kids in their queue, and so I went to them and was like, "Hey, what do you guys do to store the kids?" They're like, "We don't use anything," and there's that one parent. So we'd partner up with like silos like that, and there, as you mentioned, there's so many of them. So we would do that.
A company like Sports Engine or something like that that's ingrained in youth sports. I mean, it just seems like a fairly cost-efficient way to grab a lot of eyeballs at one time.
So my thought is this. Most women run it was like our research, like 90%, whether they're the breadwinners or not, the spending in a household, right? And most of them are not on Sports Engine. They're not on ESPN. Like to moms, their star is their kid. Right, and that's word of mouth normally, and that's trust. And so what I want to build is a community for them, because they want to know about their kid and other kids, like sports, not so much the statistics such as Sports Engine and things like that. So this is kind of like a new site that we're going strictly after moms and a couple dads, but that's essentially what we want.
So Nisha, how are you finding these moms? Talk about your marketing and how you're going to grow your customer base.
Okay, so when we launched about a year ago, literally it was just word of mouth. So I'm deep into youth sports because I played since I was 9 and 10. And so what I did was just talk to my old AAU teams. And we got a couple AAU teams from New York City. And again, it was more like, well, one kid has it, so we want to have more, the moms want to have other kids. And how we really cover the market is that it was the articles writing, not so much the scrapbook. So we want to build at the platform that they could just press a button and get a physical scrapbook as well. But essentially, it was the articles written. So they would share it on social media. They're like, hey, look at my kids. Scrap Sports wrote a story about them. And that's really how it worked. So, and then that's when we had to stop because, again, it took us 2 weeks. So we were doing everything manual. So the parents would send us, it was crazy. It was like text messages, photos, emails. And I feel that, with funding, we can make it, one-stop shop and just automate everything.
So that's what you'll do with the funding in particular?
Mm-hmm. Exactly what we do. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Nisha. Let's give a big hand for Nisha. Next up, please welcome Waylon Hasty with Elite Lineman Training.
I would start by asking you if the lights have ever went out unexpected or unanticipated. And I would tell you that you can rest assured if that's the case, there was a lineman coming to do that. I would like for you to look at this. Everybody in the room, I'm sure, has one of these. And without a lineman, you're not going to be able to charge that phone. Linemen are important because modern society cannot function without electricity. And electricity cannot be delivered from generation to where you need it without linemen. My name is Waylon Hasty. I'm from this community. I went to school at Tunnel Hill Elementary School, went to Westside Middle School, graduated from Northwest Whitfield High School. I have a beautiful wife and 4 young kids. Allie, who's 6, Lucy, who's 4, Molly, who's 2, and Gus, who is 3 months old. I was born and raised right here. I'm 35 years old. I would tell you, introducing myself, that I'm a follower of Christ, and I would not be where I'm at without that. My passion and my heart and soul is line work and young folks, and really that's all I've ever known since I graduated. 15 years ago, June 1st, 2004, I started a career at Georgia Power. I worked at Georgia Power from June 1st, 2004 until May 10th of 2019. And roughly about 4 years ago, I felt like I had a calling on my life to really try and help and invest in young people. And I loved what I did, and I loved young people. So my prayer as a believer was, what can I do to do that? And that's kind of what birthed the idea of this school. So May 10th of this year, while my wife was 8 months pregnant, I chose to leave the career that I had always known and venture into this. We operate a 12-week program where we take young men and or women and teach them to get into the industry. I would tell you that the average age of linemen is 51.2. And linemen retire between the ages of 55 and 60 because of the physical demand on the body. So there's a huge growing need to replace what's out there. And the problem that the utility companies have is they don't have a good vetting process coming in, to whereas if they go to a job fair or whatever it may be from a high school, they don't know what kind of return they get on that hire, because that individual may be scared of heights. They may not know the physical demands of what they're getting into. So that's a huge uphill battle that they face ahead of them. You can tell by this slide that the electrical line industry is growing faster than any other trades. We're growing at 8% projected. That's a PricewaterhouseCoopers report. Excuse me, that's a Bureau of Labor report that's growing at an 8%, which is the highest average of everything up there. I will tell you that the PricewaterhouseCoopers report shows from 2019 to 2050, there's a 31% increase in demand for the need of electricity. And the reasons for that are obvious. It's the phones, it's the technology, it's the things that we use. With that, the median pay in this industry is about $71,000. So we are a very mission-based business. I did what I did because it's my heart, my soul, my passion. And I had always heard the cliche, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I do what I love, and the satisfaction comes when you're able to take a young man who chose not to go to college, or a young woman who chose not to go to college, and you teach them a good hard work ethic. They get into the industry at $71,000. This is the increase in voluntary turnover in the first year this stat started. They started tracking this in 2010. It's so skewed based on which company you look at. We don't know exactly where it's at today, but it's growing, because what happens is as folks come into the industry, they come into it not knowing what they're getting into, and in about the first 12 months, maybe 18 months, they say, I'm out. It's more than they can handle. They don't want to stay up all night. They don't want to be gone at Christmas. They don't want to be gone at Thanksgiving. In 7 months of operation, we've grossed $180,000 in revenues. Our expenses were $129,000. Leaves us with a net in 7 months from May to date, net profits of $51,000. In closing, I would say this to you. Modern society cannot function without electricity. Electricity cannot be delivered without linemen. We at Elite Lineman Training Institute are here to fill that need, and we've proven that by our viability of operation in 7 months. Thank you.
Waylon, first of all, I want to say thank you very much. You are a wonderful person, and I think it's a great idea to find a solution for some of these young people that don't really want to go to college, and provide them with a really interesting job. I wish you were in the flooring business, because we have the same issue with the flooring installers. I mean, we don't find flooring installers for our product. But so obviously you have the passion, you have the vision, you have the drive, you put an incredible program together. We all read it. I mean, you got the revenue, you got basically you got a business there. Now our question is, how is that scalable? I mean, how many Waylons can we have all over the country? How do you expand upon that? How do you see growing that business into something that can be a nationwide, or something that can provide solutions on a larger scale?
So some of the discussions that we've had, and it's the team that I work with, are what we bring to the table is our size. And our size is small. And when you're small, you come to know them personally, and you get a personal investment in them. So the idea in growing is we have to keep our student to trainer ratio low. Well, obviously, it's hard to find a lineman to come train, because they're all out in the industry making all the money they can. So what I would like to do in scaling or growing is maybe add locations, but keep it small. So for example, we may try to do something around Cobb County. We may try to do something over around Jefferson, Georgia. maybe around North Alabama, but we have to keep those campuses small because there are other schools out there, but our effectiveness is much greater because it's more one-on-one training for the student. So the winners in that are the student and the employer, because if the employer calls, we don't have to pull a progress report and ask, well, what did this guy look like while he was here? What did this girl look like? We know who they are, and we know what they stand for. We know how many kids they have. We know if they're married, if they're not. And that's what I would have to stay after as a mission-minded business, is to continue to invest in the student in a small scale to where I kept that student-trainer ratio down.
Waylon, great job. How much of your curriculum is in your head? Like, how much of it is based on your experience, your expertise, and then what you're passing along? And then this really dovetails on the last question as far as growth of the business and scale. Does it make sense, and this is simply a question, but does it make sense to eventually potentially partner with some of the utilities themselves? I mean, if you were confident that they were running your curriculum, and I don't know how much of that is proprietary or not, but if they were running your curriculum either on site, whether it's existing training, continuing education training, or training for new, how would that work? And would that allow you to, in essence, license your curriculum for these training centers?
That's kind of a tough question. Our curriculum, a lot of the training, so we do about 1/3 in the classroom, about 2/3 in the field. So it's not a lot like what's traditional school, because it's a lot of hands-on training, because our job is to prepare them for the industry. So our curriculum is very structured, and it's not all from me. It's all a basis of OSHA training and regulations and safety and what to do when you're how to climb, what bucket trucks are, how the electricity's moved, what your job is when you go into the industry, that kind of thing. So the curriculum, you probably could do that with it, but the industry is in such dire straits for workers, they would rather not. They're fighting kind of the same thing Mr. Pete is with floor layers. If you were to offer somebody like him that needs a floor layer curriculum, he's going to say, start a school and train them how to lay it. I need the floor down. And that's the kind of the idea in the industry. And the electric utility industry is a little bit more dangerous and volatile scale than the flooring industry. So that's where you get into a really thin herd of folks. And the curriculum could be out there. And we're going to work on moving and creating from a baseline that we bought as a curriculum to creating our own. But I don't think the curriculum would be an avenue for us to create and sell to a company, because most of the companies don't have a lot of base training. A lot of the on-the-job training comes from experience of the guy working ahead of you. So that's another thing that we bring to the table that the employers have already given us feedback on, is the companies learn, the ground guy coming in, the brand new hire coming in on a line crew, he's learning from the guy that he's working for under his direction. And that guy learned from that guy, and that guy learned from that guy, and so on and so forth. So there's no foundation baseline on any firm knowledge as to why a lot of this stuff happens the way it does. And we've already gotten feedback of, hey, you had some students that graduated and came here to work with us, and they were able to help some of the experienced guys with the knowledge of how things happen and why they happen. Did that answer your question?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Where are you finding the young men and women to put through this opportunity? Because it's a great opportunity, right? If you choose to defer college or don't believe that that's the right fit for you. But how do you make sure this is interesting, exciting, and you continue to kind of build the industry and repopulate, if you would, the lineman base?
So it's not very hard for me, because it's my passion and it's all I've ever known. So I started at Georgia Power when I was 18. That's all I've ever known, and that's why it was a huge leap of faith for me to leave that. And I think the biggest thing that I bring to the table in that arena is I can connect with them, because I would not say this for everybody in the room, but I would say for me, college wasn't anything that was in my sights, and I did not want to go to college. And I learned a very good, skilled trade, and I wanted to be a place where those students that wanted to connect and get into this industry, I wanted to be an avenue for them. And I would tell you without a shadow of a doubt, God's blessed me with that, because in 15 years in the industry, I had a lot of good relationships, and I still have a great reputation in the industry, which helps me after I graduate students and they call me and say, hey, how about so-and-so, then I'm able to relay it to them. He's struggling here, he needs here, that kind of thing. So, did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Good? Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Big hand for Waylon. Help me welcome Brandon and Felicia Smith with Critterbox.
You ready? Okay. Good evening. My name is Brandon Smith.
And I'm Felicia Smith, and together we created Critterbox, a product that revolutionizes the way people care for their pet reptiles.
In 2017, there were 9.4 million reptile pets and 4.7 million U.S. households. In 2018, our 5-year-old son started begging for a lizard, and we became one of those households.
And this is our sweet baby boy.
And our son Colton is also in the picture. So after we purchased Thunder Drum, which is what our 5-year-old named our pet lizard, we realized we had an issue. We had a trip planned to Disney World, and we had nobody to help care for our reptile. We also realized that juveniles, when they're small, they need to be fed multiple times per day, and they need to be fed before their UVB lights go out at night, so that aids with digestion.
And they don't eat kibbles and bits, they eat live bugs, crickets, mealworms, roaches. And as much as I personally love hand feeding bugs to my lizard, it is so very difficult to find someone else who's willing to come into my home and do the same thing while I'm away.
Now, if you notice this slide, Thunder Drum is sitting for his food because Felicia has taught him how to sit, and he sits better than our golden doodle does.
That's actually true. So about 1.5 years ago, when we were planning this trip to Disney, we went online shopping for an automated feeder that would serve crickets to our lizard while we were away. And when we couldn't find what we were looking for, we decided to build one ourselves.
So I know what you're thinking. Is there a market for this? And that was the question we asked ourselves before we even started going down this venture. Is there a market? Turns out there is, and there's a big one. In 2016, Americans spent $383 million on reptile products. And that's not including the reptiles. That's just their terrariums and their products. The truth is, people love their reptiles. Sometimes they love them too much.
Guilty.
People love talking about their reptiles. Here's 3 different Instagram feeds just showing 2.5 million posts, 3.4 million posts, and 2.6 million posts where people are just talking and posting pictures of their reptiles. But most importantly, people love spending money on their reptiles. Here's 3 different trade shows where people congregate. This is like Repticon, some of these reptile shows, where people congregate to buy and sell the latest and greatest pet reptiles and pet reptile products.
And the product that we intended to create was not only a reptile feeder, but essentially a reptile sitter. We wanted to create a device that allowed for healthier reptile feeding, but also gave added convenience to the owner. And so we created Critterbox. It's an automated device that allows a pet owner to remotely feed live bait to their reptile from anywhere in the world with a Wi-Fi connection. And it can be controlled with it's actually controlled with an application on your smart device. So you can actually control it manually with a set schedule, and there will also be a way that you can use, you can access the camera on the device, so you can actually visually watch your reptile while you're away from home.
And this is how it works. Now, this is Thunder Drum using his reptile feeder. I think it's on. Yep. So the doors come up, the crickets, the bait starts to come out. He eats his breakfast, and he's happy. Okay? So if anybody out there is wondering how old Thunder Drum is, it's very easy to tell that he is a teenager because his room's a complete mess. We also wanted to briefly show the evolution of our product. We started with a very large wooden box, and we knew that we had to cram that down into a much smaller terrarium. So what we did was we bought a 3D printer, and I learned how to use AutoCAD. Took me a couple of 100 hours, I guess. Probably made about 400 mistakes and have a graveyard of feeders. But we made all kinds of different models to try to get the perfect one. We had 7-door models, 5-door models, 3 doors, 4 doors, about any combination of doors. We ended up putting lights in it. We've got fans, and we used the box you see here for our final utility patent. The only difference that will be between this picture and our product that we take to market is that there'll be a fisheye lens on the front so that you can access via your smartphone application to check in on your reptile. The market that we're hoping to capture are those that are vacationers, people with busy schedules who work, pet stores, zoos, but most importantly, CritterBox will allow those families that have wanted a reptile but lead a really busy life and really didn't have the time to adequately take care of their reptile. Our cost in 2020 for the first 1,000 units, we're estimating about an $86 per unit cost for that first 1,000 because of tooling. In 2021, for 5,000 units, the cost will drop pretty substantially down to $36 per unit. Price point about $130 per unit for sale. This is a 5-year projection. What we did was we took the 9.4 million reptiles that were in the United States. We very conservatively assumed that 1 million of those reptiles would be lizard-type reptiles that could utilize our box. We took 0.1% of the market in 2020, and by 2024, we plan to obtain 6% of the market.
I want to conclude by saying that CritterBox is a system for reptile care. Our vision is for our device to connect to other devices in the near future. Lighting, cameras, thermometers, heat lamps, heat rods, a live bait subscription, smart terrariums, all connected and controlled in the palm of your hand with our CritterBox application. Finally, bringing reptile care into the 21st century.
Thank you.
Do you envision pet stores bundling this product with other equipment for your lizard and selling it? Are you going to go through Chewy.com? What channels are you going to go through to reach the most customers?
The first initial rollout of our product would focus on those trade shows, the Repticons, the reptile super shows, and really getting our product out there. We would actually like to bundle our product in our own terrariums and with our own systems of devices. That is our ultimate vision. But to start out, it would be to get our name out into the community because it's a reptile community. And so getting our name out there into the community so that our name becomes a staple, a standard.
So I think this is a really interesting market, and I didn't probably identify how large of a market it is at first look. But I'd be curious to understand who the heavyweight players are in this industry and if there are more efficient ways of perhaps getting your product in the hands of your users rather than going trade show to trade show.
Yeah. So there's several very large companies like Exoterra, Zilla. There's a new startup company, Thrive, that you can actually go to PetSmart and buy their terrariums and that sort of such. So there are some very large companies out there that you could partner with.
And that is something that we have taken into consideration. If we had the networking to do so, then that would be definitely an option.
Yep.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to say it's a really unique idea because I think finding reptile sitters when you're on vacation is probably not an easy thing to do. But you know, you're a doctor, you're a busy man. This is going to take some doing. Who's going to do all the hard work? And would it not be better? Would it not be better maybe to look if you can align yourself with one of those suppliers of all the critters and and basically take a royalty, get the box in their hands, let them do all the hard work, and just sit home and enjoy the family and get a 10% royalty check every month.
We've talked about it.
That's definitely an option.
I'm very goal driven. I mean, so I know that whenever I set my mind to do something, you know, we really try to push for that. you have anything to add?
But to build an $8 or $9 or $10 million business,
yeah.
I mean
It's gonna take a lot.
that takes doing. So you have to be committed to that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying you're not, but don't underestimate it. So.
Right. And when you look at it that way, that is one of the advantages to doing that, to just taking the royalties. The disadvantage would be to not see our vision come to fruition, so to not actually be able to carry out this grandiose business plan that we have and that we want to see. We want to see it in the world.
You alluded to it at the end of the pitch as far as your vision for what you see in CritterBox become, but talk about that just historically a hardware meaning something you can tangibly touch like this box, a one-time sale. I mean, I can point to many companies that have started off really hot. You sell it one time. That's the last time you ever touch that customer, right? So I think what you alluded to is getting into more of the recurring revenue stream that can be associated with this, such as, we were talking earlier, such as the printer and the ink and the razor and the razors, and it's that subscription model, whether it be what you're actually feeding to the reptile or anything else. So talk a little bit about that if you could. Yeah.
Exactly. At the end of the day, we're really selling the application. We want the application on people's phones so that they can get the notification, does your animal need food? Do you need to order bait? And actually, we have a live bait subscription that we subscribe to, because when you go to the pet store to get crickets, a lot of pet stores only get the shipment once a week, and then by the time you get to the store, they're completely out. So there have been times that we couldn't even get crickets for our reptiles, so we actually get them every Wednesday in the mail in a tubed container. And so that would be what we would provide for our customers, people who have our app. We would provide a way for them to get shipments of our crickets, our mealworms in the mail.
So our idea is, if we start off with a product that we can put in the consumer's hands and build a revenue stream, then we can roll out another product that we can put in the consumer's hands that ties to that system. And then eventually we would look at doing subscriptions for live bait and different things.
Right. We had read a book several years ago about the founder of Legos, and one of the things that he had realized in a business meeting is if he could find a product that would fit as a system that would work together, then that was the key to success. And so he got rid of all the other toys and he just focused on these blocks that would interconnect. And so that was what we did. We had a vision for our business as being devices that all connect together, that become part of a bigger system. You buy this piece, it connects. You buy this piece, it connects. You buy this piece, and it's all part of the CritterBox system.
Great job. Last question. How many crickets do you go through in a week?
Okay, so we go through about 100 per week. And it sounds like a huge number. So if you look at some of these numbers that we were given, if you were able to capture 20% of your CritterBox market, and you're looking at, how many was it, 5,400 subscribers, thereabout by year 3 or 4, you're talking about 500,000 crickets. There's a lot of crickets there. But remember, crickets, you can actually, I think we had read that some people even, put crickets in their basement and grow them in tubs so they can feed them to their...
They make like $15,000 a year with a little Tupperware container in their basement selling
just selling
crickets.
Selling crickets. So they come, 100 crickets you can pack into a really small little tube. You can grow thousands and thousands of crickets in just little Tupperware boxes. So if you actually tool up and have incubators and have ways that you can actually produce crickets, I think it'd be a very obtainable goal to produce that many crickets per month.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Brandon and Felicia. Okay, before we bring up our next pitch, I want to remind you that voting is open for your favorite booth. And remember, your favorite booth, whoever wins that competition, is going to win a prize. So your vote is very important. Again, to vote, slido.com, SLIDO.com. Enter pitch DIA, all one word, and click join. And you can vote right now for your favorite booth. And just to remind you, The booth competition includes our K-12 competitors, okay? Once all of our 5 pitches are done, you'll have the opportunity to vote for the people's choice, okay? So I'll let you know after the pitches are done. Everybody got it? Ready to go? Yes, sir. Thank you. You are so polite. I love it. Next up, please welcome to the stage Francisco Campa with Rug Site.
Good evening, everyone. Let's wait for the presentation. Okay, my name is Francisco. Thank you for being here today. I have worked in the carpet industry since 1998. And over the years, I have spent a lot of time working on different manufacturing processes and engineering, production groups, and of course, helping product development with some crazy ideas and some market needs. So here's my idea. Bathroom rugs. That's not my idea, but let me start with that. I wish it was. That was a great invention, perhaps initiated in this very town. We are the carpet capital of the world. But it's a great set of decorating pieces that keep our feet dry, they keep them warm on a cold floor, and of course, comfortable on a hard surface. But more than just providing comfort, they have become a very important decorating piece. They come in different colors and shapes, and we normally pick them to select, match the rest of the room. In a way, they're helping us to make our bathrooms unique. They are sold by the millions, and a lot of those pieces are made in this very town. You can find them at all major retailers. Obviously, you can also find them online. Mohawk and Maples perhaps supply most of the industry, and of course, there are imports that are coming to the market as well. However, there is a problem. These pieces are exposed to a very toxic environment, if you know what I mean, right? They're exposed to water and moisture, and of course, they're exposed to human waste. Now, that can create a pretty bad situation where you can have bacteria and mold that can lead to infections and some kind of nasty smells. So there is a question now is, how do we keep them clean? Until now, obviously, machine washing has been one of the options, and of course, most of us probably already do that. But that brings another problem, which is product degradation. See, bathroom rugs don't last forever, and they're designed to withstand a certain number of washes. What happens after that is they start falling apart. So the question is, how do we keep them clean while we extend the life of the product while still, saving on water and energy? For that, we have Rug Site. Rug Site is a unique formula that sanitizes and conditions on a single spray application. Do it yourself. Rug Site addresses a market need to quickly and effectively sanitize and condition the product. There are partial products out there. Febreze is one of them, which is only designed to kind of capture the odor particles, which, by the way, if you wet the rug again, they can be released back into the air. So that's a partial solution. It doesn't sanitize. Rug Site has the potential of achieving over $40 million in revenue in the first 5 years. Rug Site addresses 4 main areas. The first one is an antibacterial. Just like the way you sanitize your hands, now you have a way to sanitize your rugs. It prevents the growth of mold. It has conditioners that treats the fibers and make the carpet feel smooth. And lastly, it can be designed to either do odor control or to provide a nice scent. Based on those 4 main benefits, Rug Site can be customized to meet your expectations. The original formula provides all the benefits and gives the rugs like a clean laundry smell. The unscented version controls the odors, yet sanitizes and conditions. The infusions version, just like the original formula, provides Rug Site's all benefits, but includes a candle-like scent, which is great for the holidays. Now, question for you. You have pets, some of you do, and have you seen the dogs and how they clean their rear by dragging it on the carpet? And then you feel pretty bad about sitting on that same spot and letting your kids play on it. Well, for that, we have the Era Rug version, which is designed to simply sanitize. So you can think of Rug Site like a prescription for your rugs, so we can make you feel safe, enjoy a pleasant smell or scent in your room, and of course, to feel comfortable on your rugs with Rug Site. Thank you.
So that's really interesting, especially the last comment about your dog, because I have
I
two
like that
dogs
part.
and,
Yeah, I've seen my dog do that. I don't tell anybody when I see it.
Nor should you. So why would I purchase as a consumer such a special product when maybe a combination of like Lysol and Febreze or a scented Lysol that's generic I can use across both rugs and couches and everything else?
Right.
Wouldn't that do the trick? Where's the competitive edge here?
Well, you just mentioned that you added 3 products. In this case, I have one single product that includes all those benefits into one. I don't require to put it on a machine. For example, there is a Bissell antibacterial that is for carpets, which is designed to go on your carpet washing equipment. So obviously, I cannot take that machine and do a bathroom rug with it. So by having all these components into a single product, it's a quickly, spray application that includes all those benefits. Now, none of those products that you mentioned include a softener for the fabric. One of them is going to capture the odor, the other one is going to kill some bacteria, and by the way, it's got other chemicals in it that can be harmful to you if you're going to be walking on it or sitting on it. So the benefit here is a combination of all those into a single application.
And it retails for $9.99?
It retails, the target is to retail for $9.99. The picture that you saw there at the store, I took that picture at the local Walmart, and when I went there, the end cap was empty. That's the perfect location for this product. The retail is to be $9.99. Obviously, wholesale to be about $3 because the Walmart likes 70 points. So, and with that, we still have a 33% margin.
And how much is a bathroom rug retail for?
A bathroom rug is going to go anywhere if you go to the dollar store, that you can buy one for $2 or $3 a piece, and I've seen some to be up to the $20 mark.
Okay.
Depending on the size and the construction.
Yeah, I think my question's a follow-on. Your price point seems too high for what we pay for the rug. Some people just throw them away after a few uses. Do you see an ability to get that price point down, and how are you going to get slotting spaces in the retail stores?
The price can be brought down, of course. The price and my estimates are based on a very conservative number using almost retail value for everything that I'm doing. Including the packaging company quote, I had to assume very low quantities, so obviously the power to volume will be something else. And in terms of getting into the marketplace, I believe that this product can sell by being closed on that aisle. And however, there are versions of this product that I already have in mind for automotive applications. So there is a way to expand on that as well. But I believe that this being placed on the same aisle with the same kind of products, there is nothing on that aisle. So I believe that will be assuming that kind of traffic. The revenue that I mentioned is on a very low conservative number, assuming a 2.5 market share. So yes, I cannot go lower than that. That's, to me, that will be conservative, and assume that up to year 5 to capture about 10% of the market.
Usually the items on an end cap, though, are impulse item. At that price point, it seems a little high for an impulse purchase. Have you talked to Mohawk about maybe bundling this with rugs or selling this as a bundled item?
No, I haven't. Although I know that the market is requiring some antibacterial on these products. The flooring is possibly one of the last ones to get into the bandwagon. You have the apparel industry, which are already doing a lot of fabrics that are antibacterial and to control odor, using some of the very known, like silver-based chemistries. And for the carpet industry, it has been a little different story because the performance of those chemicals is not as good as when you apply it through the manufacturing processes or become very expensive. But I know that the market is requesting that. Now, that being coupled with this kind of product might be an opportunity as well, of course.
Francisco, obviously, your product is an antibacterial, antifungal, and maybe the scent as well for the season, which is great. But what do you do with these bodily fluids or solids that are trapped in the rug? What do you do with that?
Now, the product does not replace washing of the rug. The product is meant to be used to extend the time in between washes, to extend the time between. Now, if something dramatic happens on the rug, you got to wash it. Now, but this is meant, for example, my wife owns a bunch of those rugs. I made them, and I never understood why we had so many. But we put them on the floor for one day, and the next day go in the washer machine. And I had an example which is falling apart because we washed them too often just because we didn't feel comfortable. You walk out of the shower with wet feet, eventually it's going to dry. So by using this kind of product, it smells like you lit a candle in the bathroom, and it kind of keeps it sanitized. But does not mean that you don't need to wash the rug anymore. So
maybe one last question. Your market, you say, is going to be the bigger boxes, Walmart, Target.
Mm-hmm.
it's complicated to get a position in these stores. You have shelf space that you have to buy, that you have to acquire. How do you plan on doing that? And how do you kind of stand up against the micro brands of this world, the brands that are out there that everybody knows? Nobody knows Ruckside. How are you going to get your brand to know by the consumer?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. You know, that's what a part that I don't have. I do have some connections to perhaps take these to the home shopping network, and that would be a good way to start and let the name go out. And but that's the kind of challenge that I'm facing right now: is how do I get to these big box retailers? All I know is that there was shelf space available being wasted last time I was there.
Again, maybe there's an opportunity. I mean, and Marilyn already mentioned it. You know, Mohawk is a great company, has all access to all these big box retailers. Maybe you can present the product to Mohawk for them to brand it under the Mohawk brand, and you take a royalty, and you're just happy here after.
That sounds like a win to me as well.
Okay. I'll take a small cut.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Francisco. Is everybody ready for our final pitch of the night? Absolutely. All right. Please welcome to the stage DeMarcus Davis with Music Book.
What you just heard represents 10 years of great feedback from my music instructors and a lot of practice on my part, but my story didn't begin there. Hi, I'm DeMarcus Davis, founder and CEO of Music Book. When I began playing the violin, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. My parents had lost their jobs, we lost our home, and I lost my voice. The violin for me became my voice, but when my orchestra teacher saw that I wasn't progressing as quickly as the other students, she recommended I find an outside music instructor. But this proved difficult. For millions of people just like me, they want to learn how to play music, and they need an instructor to do so. But finding those instructors is difficult because the instructors themselves are performers, and they don't market themselves. Until now. Music Book solves this by using AI to connect quality music instructors with students locally. When a music instructor and student log into our application, using IBM Watson Personality Insights, we're able to generate a personality profile on both instructor and student in order to best recommend instructors to that student. But what separates us is our instructors themselves. Each of our instructors goes through a rigorous 4-step vetting process, beginning with a background check. Next, we look at their professional experience, followed by their education, and finally, their student success. But what's creating a lane all our own is our technology. In a market saturated by distance learning alternatives, which fail to take into account tactile feedback needed to learn how to play an instrument, we focus on in-person lessons, which is how music has been taught for hundreds of years, and we automate the process with our CRM that empowers our music instructors to be better business managers. And we're doing this in a huge market. In the US, over 42 million households have children between the ages of 3 and 17, and on average spend over $500 a year on educating them musically, creating a $21 billion shadow economy. Now, under our revenue model, we have an annual customer value of around $305 per year. Our music instructors pay a yearly membership fee, which covers their background checks. And after doing a 50-50 revenue split on the first lesson between an instructor and a new student, we get $5 plus a service fee for every lesson from that point on. Now, some people might hear this opportunity and go, classical music is dying. But we know this to be untrue. And the greatest examples of this are the artists Lady Gaga and Lizzo and Alicia Keys, who show that classical music education is important and can exist in popular culture. This is the future that we are committed to seeing for classical music education. And we do this by reinvesting in underserved communities that often don't receive these opportunities. Now, I'm a solo founder, but I have an amazing team behind me. I stand before you as a graduate of the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, having worked with the San Francisco Symphony and Atlanta Symphony, guest lectured at Stanford University, and performed at Carnegie Hall. My CTO is a graduate of Stanford University, and he's the software architect behind such notable platforms as Ancestry.com and PlayStation.com. And we have an amazing team behind us. Now, to prove out this business, we ran a 10-month pilot, during which time we saw 99% retention rates, over 200 students monthly, and we inked a deal with Adidas Sound Labs. And we got to work with them on the release of the Adidas Pod Boost, which released globally a week ago. Additionally, we generated revenue from day one, over $120,000 to be exact. And by the end of the pilot, we had netted just over 10% of this. Which brings us to our ask. We're currently raising our seed round of $1.5 million to scale our company into the future so that we can hit our revenue goals of $2.8 million this school year and $16 million the following school year. But we aren't stopping there. We plan on growing out this market through the release of digital content, then moving into online music lessons, and finally, AI for music lessons so that you can get real-time feedback wherever, whenever. This is all helping me to achieve my personal goal of being the first Black man to take a company public as founder and CEO. At Music Book, we believe that every person deserves the opportunity to learn music, regardless of their background. We believe that not every entrepreneur wears an E on their chest, but that some are called music instructors and simply need a little bit of help organizing their businesses. And we believe that music education provides hope in times where there's not always a light at the end of the tunnel. If you believe what we believe, get in touch with us today. Any questions?
DeMarcus, great job.
Thank you.
First question I have, how do you keep people on the platform without going around the platform? I'm sure you got that question a bunch.
Absolutely. So on the student side, it's safety. So for most of our market is parents of children between the ages of 3 and 17. So the one thing that we can always guarantee is that we're running yearly background checks on these instructors. Now, we don't have many issues with this because most musicians are good people, but it's that safety aspect of it. Now, on the teacher side of it, it's actually the pricing. So we are the best price option in the industry right now. Most of our competitors are taking 20, 30% sometimes. And if you go to your local mom and pop shop, which are our main competitors, oftentimes you'll see that they're advertising lessons for $80 to $90 an hour, and they're paying the music instructor 15 to 20. So on our site, our music instructors are actually setting their own rates, and we're adding a service fee on top of what they're already charging. They simply pay the card processing fee, so they're getting virtually 100% of their revenue. So they have no reason to go around us because we're simply helping them organize their businesses.
Good.
A great job, DeMarcus. A question, how many music instructors have you signed up so far?
So far, so under our pilot, we actually did $120,000 with 5 instructors, and that was about 30 students. So far, we're actually planning to release the public beta of our app in about 2 days. And so far, we have about 45 instructors who are signed up to be on the application.
And how do you find these instructors?
Thus far, it has been word of mouth. As we scale, the way we do that is through partnerships with professional music organizations and then colleges and conservatories. So if you go to your local symphony or professional band, most of them are going to have college degrees, which allows them to teach on our platform. We can vet them quickly, and if they can pass a background check, they're able to teach. From there, going to colleges and conservatories becomes very key. So the faculty of these organizations are actually already teaching. So their students, for them, it's a software service play, so we actually can allow them to utilize the scheduling software and communication software to work with their own students. But they also have students outside of that. The students who are at these colleges and conservatories often teach to subsidize their income while in school. So it's the perfect time for us to capture them because we are giving them their market, students who are looking for music lessons. And so that actually allows us to scale city by city under our market-by-market growth model.
Okay, thank you very much. In one of your presentations here, I read that you were going to recruit as well at music festivals.
Yes.
I've been to a few music festivals. I mean, I'm not basically going to these festivals to get music lessons, but you know, there's a couple other things that we normally do there. So how do you see that recruiting going on at music festivals?
For sure. So I think there's an important clarification to be made here. A lot of people see, like, for example, this weekend in Atlanta is the A through C Music Festival, where a lot of artists will come in and just perform. On the classical music side of the industry, you have things like Aspen Music Festival, Verbier, where they're all performers who are going and doing the same thing, but everyone at the festival is a performer most often. The audience oftentimes are people from the community, but largely the people who will be there, they will be there for what is called like a summer institute. So they're actually working with private instructors while they're there, and then they go back home to their respective cities. So by targeting these classical music festivals, it allows us to execute our model, which is B2B2C, by targeting the music instructors. So it's not necessarily your Coachella music festival, but it's more of a music festival that is in line with our model of music instructors who are classical musicians or professionally trained musicians.
DeMarcus, would this scale to other performing arts, lessons for art, theater, dance? Do you see this scaling in that way?
Absolutely. So one of the very early things that we're planning on implementing in this initial release of our public beta is actually recording artists. So producers, engineers, they can all teach that craft. So that's one of our first areas where we're testing out that model. But we've had a lot of people who work in the musical theater field who are like, I give lessons already. I want to teach people how to act. So we're focused very heavily on the music because I know the music industry very well, but I do see it scaling into other avenues, and we're set up to do it.
What's the single most important thing you have to nail if you get this $1.5 million and you execute over the next 12 months? What is the single most important thing to your business?
Technology. The technology is key in that, and I would say that is because our music instructors, they are typically retaining their students. So the reason we were able to do the revenue that we did during our pilot was because our instructors already had strong relationships with the students. So once we get the students on the platform, stickiness is not the issue. However, where I could see us potentially losing or having trouble retaining students and things of that nature is if our technology is not up to par. And so as long as our technology is there and it's making the process easier, smoother, and more consistent, I don't think we'll have any issues.
Real quick, could you explain the technology? Is this remote sessions you mean, like streaming the lessons, or what specifically around the technology do you mean?
Yeah, so all of our lessons are in person. So we're not doing the virtual lesson thing, so we don't have like streaming issues to worry about. But definitely the payment processor is extremely important, as well as the scheduling. So to prove this out, we used a model similar to a Calendly, if you will, which is the instructor sets their hours of availability, and the students can go in and pick their times. So we have built all of that into this initial iteration of the application. So making sure that those things are running smoothly and that we're not crashing the server. A little bit excited and concerned about that because on Thursday we actually will be, there will be information on us and Hippopotamus, as well as we're launching at the A3C Music Festival. So we're going to have a lot of eyes coming very quickly. So it's going to be one of those very early tests of can our technology handle all of the traffic? And that's what's going to be really key. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, DeMarcus. Big hand for DeMarcus. Let's thank all of our competitors tonight. All right. At this point, I'm going to excuse our judges so they can go deliberate and help us figure out who the winner is. Also at this point, voting is now open for you to vote for your favorite pitch. Again, slido.com, SLIDO.com. Pitch Dia, hit join, and you can vote for your favorite pitch. While our judges are deliberating, I'm going to welcome last year's winner, Trip Phillips, back to the stage, and he is going to introduce you to our K-12 competitors. So please help me welcome Trip Phillips.
It's working. The first group we have is Hat Plus That from Westwood Elementary. The second group will be Boom Bomb from City Park Elementary. The third group is Neon Booklight from Westwood Elementary. The fourth group is Bite Bright from Dalton High. And last but not least, Noisebusters from Westwood.
Hat Plus That. With our hats, you can support the community or wear what's in style in a blink of an eye. Hi, I'm McKinley. This is Ada, and this is Sydney. Together, we're Hat Plus That, and our product is an interchangeable hat.
Have you ever had too many hats? Well, an interchangeable hat is just what you need. With all the different styles out there, you probably have multiple hats with no use except for on the one day that you wear them. With our hats, you can change your look in seconds with just one hat.
Are you ready to make space and clean out your closet?
Our interchangeable hats come with many snap options, including community events like Prater's Mill. We also have 9 different theme snap kits and a starter and ultimate kit.
Our starter kit comes with all the things a new buyer might need, including a choice of snaps and a choice of hats.
Our ultimate kit comes with 3 dyes, 2 white hats, 4 blank inserts, and 5 permanent markers. With our ultimate kit, you get every kit in one.
But that's not all. Would you like to hear about the Design Your Own Insert kit? It comes with 5 permanent markers and 4 blank snaps to show off your imagination.
What kid doesn't like tie-dye? Well, we have a tie-dye kit. It comes with 3 different colored dyes. It also comes with a blank white hat, ready for your creativity to run wild.
We would like for every kid to have the chance that we had to change the world. So, we would like to donate 10% of all our profits to improving Dalton Public Schools. We would also like to donate to other community organizations.
Our invention is focused on improving the world
one hat at a time.
Oh, I'll vote for you if you give me a leg glue hat. The next one is Boom Bomb from City Park Elementary School.
Are your lips getting chapped? Are you constantly getting sick from the flu? Get Boom Bomb, the only flu-fighting lip balm there is. Boom Bomb.
Ten years ago, a second grader at our school passed away because of the flu.
Her name was Candy Chen, and there's a memorial in our library and a writing award given each year in her honor.
We never want that to happen to another family.
Last year, several students missed school because of the flu. No one gets sick. Do you, audience?
That's why we created Boom Bomb!
An essential oil expert helped us find the right blend that would be effective at fighting flu germs and would smell great too, so everyone will want some.
And it really works. We tested it on students and adults. Even my mom used it, and she said it helped her get over her cold faster.
Mom approved!
We designed Boom Bomb for boys and girls because we want everyone in our community to use it.
In our research, kids mentioned that they were always losing their chapstick. It won't work if you lose it. That's why we added a clip that can clip onto your book bag, belt, or purse.
You won't lose it now!
I bet you're wondering how much it cost. Each tube cost 72 cents to make, but would be cheaper in mass production. We believe it could easily sell for $5 because it's made with antiviral and antibacterial essential oils, all natural ingredients, and has a cool star-shaped keyring.
We predict everyone will want to buy one. Even you.
The sales will be off the charts.
Boom!
If you signed up to try to win a boom bomb, come up to her booth after all the pitches and see who won.
I lost my non-cold fighting chapstick today, so I need a keychain. The next group is Neon Booklight from Westwood Elementary. Will you please welcome them to the stage?
Have you heard about the newest trend? It's reading real books.
Yeah, everybody's doing it, so how about you try it with our booklight?
Yes, we'd love to. What a great idea. Goodbye, e-readers.
Hi, I'm Wells Wilkerson. This is Kate Harrison. This is Michaela Washington, and this is Callie Penley. We're from Westwood Elementary School, and together we are Team Neon Booklight.
If you like to read real books at night and you search for a booklight, you find your booklight, but it has to be plugged in and it's too big and bulky for your book and makes reading even harder.
I tried a booklight with a movable arm, but it kept flopping down on my book, and it had to be plugged in.
I experimented with a small portable booklight with one LED light, but it was hard to clip on and the light burned out in one day. This happened with 3 of the same type booklights. Would you like to try the booklight I invented?
If so, we have the perfect solution for you.
The Neon Booklight!
I first came up with this idea in the 3rd grade. I love to read real books, and I couldn't find a small, portable booklight for reading. So I created a small, portable, battery-operated LED booklight for reading.
Did you know Callie continued to improve her design? She entered her 5th prototype, a lightweight book cover with an LED bookmark strip in Bright Sparks Chattanooga Area Invention Challenge for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. Her invention won 2nd place.
Way to go, Callie! From then on, Callie continued to improve her design for the booklight.
When I learned about pitch STIA, I decided to form a team to help me revise and pitch my idea.
We experimented with and researched different types of booklights and found most difficult to use. As we demonstrated, some are difficult to clip on, and many were bulky and had to be plugged in to work. We found a booklight with an LED light, but it burned out in one day. We took apart different booklights to see how power sources, switches, and wiring were designed.
Our latest prototype has a stretchable book cover to hold the compact battery case. The LED light strip can be flipped from page to page, giving you the very best reading experience.
If you share a room with a sibling or spouse and they're trying to sleep, but you want to read and your light is too bright,
that is not a problem with the Neon Booklight. The LED light strip only sheds light on the pages of your book. And you can have this amazing booklight for only $19.99.
If you love to read real books just like us,
let us light up your life with the Neon Booklight. Thank you.
I'm out on that one because I came up with my invention to try to avoid reading or writing. The next group is Bright Bite from Dalton High. Please welcome to the stage.
Hello. We are marketing management students at Dalton High School, and our product is called Bite Bright. And this product was brought by a fellow student.
This student was actually me. After I got my braces off, I noticed that my teeth were more stained than usual, which is understandable because when you do have braces, you're not able to brush thoroughly because you have all the metals on your teeth. And so I went to my local market. I checked out 2 whitening products. I checked out the charcoal toothpaste and the whitening strips. And what I noticed about both of those products was that they were real time consuming and also a huge mess. And I told myself that there had to be another solution to my problem, but there wasn't. I mean, I could have gotten a whitening procedure, but we all know how expensive those can be. And so that's how I came up with the product, Bite Bright, which is a whitening gum that will whiten your teeth fast, simple, and easy. Okay, to start off our presentation, we want to ask you all, what is the first thing you see different about this guy's appearance? A tooth, right? Okay, we all agree, his teeth, right? Okay, well, we actually constructed a social experiment with this image, so let's take a look. What is the first thing you notice about this picture?
Tooth.
The tooth.
The dude's teeth. He has no teeth.
No teeth.
The guy's teeth.
Okay.
The guy in his teeth.
Okay. His teeth. Look closely. What is something else you noticed? I bet you didn't notice that his eyebrow was missing.
Oh yeah. Eyebrow?
Yes!
Oh, I did.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh.
So I bet we all didn't notice. So I bet we all didn't notice that his eyebrow was missing, but we did notice his teeth, right? Well, about 90% of the people that we interviewed said that they saw his tooth, but only 10% saw his eyebrow, which this basically proves that your teeth are a huge and important factor to your appearance and to your life to be successful.
Now with Bite Bright, we've already mentioned that a key factor to your appearance is teeth. So with Bite Bright, it'll brighten one's smile as well as boost self-confidence, as well as it's beneficial to one's health and appearance, such as in a professional environment or a job interview. People invest into cosmetics on average $62 billion. That is way too much. So with this product, it'll avoid expensive whitening procedures. Now with our target market, we've distinguished that 55 billion pieces of gum is chewed every year. So we hope to target 0.3% of that target market. So with Bite Bright, we've estimated that 16 million pieces will be chewed every year. Aside from gum chewers, we also hope to target coffee drinkers, wine drinkers, and smokers.
Okay, with our ingredients, we will have water, which may seem simple, but is actually really important because it allows carbomer from dehydrating your teeth. And what carbomer does is it allows our whitening agents to spread around your teeth because our competitors ask us, oh, how is your gum supposed to whiten your teeth if you only chew with the back of your molars? And so that's why we included carbomer, because it allows all our ingredients to spread out thoroughly. Okay, the second one is baking soda because it removes plaque, hydrogen peroxide, which will be our main whitening agent, and charcoal because it eliminates tooth stains and whitens teeth, and lastly, monk fruit extract, which will be our natural sweetener that will remove the charcoal tasting flavor.
Now with our product, it is prescription strength without needing a prescription. So no need to go to a dentistry to get prescribed to our product. It is automatically on our shelves. Each packet contains 12 pieces. And to manufacture our product, it'll cost $1.95. So retail price estimated would be $2.93, and the profit for a year, hopefully, would be $60 million. Based on our competitors, we would have to advertise more, create a basic plan, as well as no mess. So no charcoal powder all over your sink or having to mess around with whitening strips, as well as it is long-lasting flavor. So as you chew it, the flavor's still there, as well as it's easy on the go. So you're able to place it in your purse, your backpack, even on hand. And it's not time-consuming, so it doesn't take hours or days for this product to affect. It just takes as simple as 10 seconds as soon as you chew it. As well, it's more affordable compared to whitening products. Now, before we conclude our presentation, let's take a look at our commercial.
Bite Bright will help one embrace a bigger and better smile. So with Bite Bright, help make the world bright.
And it all starts with you.
Thank you.
I need to buy out their whole stock. The next group from Westwood Elementary, clearly Westwood produces winners. The next group is Noise Busters from Westwood. Please welcome them to the stage.
It's something loud in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Noise Busters! If there's something noisy and you can't hear me, who you gonna call? Noise Busters!
Now that we have your attention, I am Andy, this is Chris, and Klaus. Not to be confused with the rappers. We are students from Westwood Elementary School, and our company is PSAP, Personalized Sound Absorbing Panels, aka Noise Busters. We believe when the sound of your environment is disturbed by an unwelcome third party, freedom of learning is forfeited.
Let me tell you how we started our business. Our classroom is located next to the cafeteria at Westwood Elementary School. I know this is probably hard to believe this, but the only thing separating our classroom from the noisy cafeteria is a thin, flimsy, temporary wall. As you can imagine, the cafeteria was pure chaos between 11 to 1 p.m., and we couldn't hear anything.
So the second paragraph is either going to be to compare and contrast two characters in your story.
If you cannot hear, you cannot learn. This was me in class.
Like most companies, we start out with a problem and then attempted to solve it. Fortunately for us, we live in a community with many experts. On our journey to develop a product to solve our issue, we consulted with sound experts, product testing experts, and especially personalization experts. After consulting, we arrived at the following materials. 1, a 2-foot by 4-foot wood frame. 2, a foam material is the main instrument to absorb the annoying sound. 3, carpet to further absorb sound or to be one of your choices of main decor. 4th and finally, a decorative canvas cover that can be personalized and looks however you want it to look. The result is a product that absorbs sound effectively and looks however you want it to look.
We put our product to the ultimate test. We installed the 8 panels on the flimsy wall that we mentioned, and it worked. Let me tell you about our results. Prior to us installing Noise Busters panels, our classroom endured sounds from the cafeteria that exceeded 90 decibels. Immediately after the installation, noise levels dropped to a maximum of 45 decibels. That may not sound all that significant, but to put that in perspective, our classroom went from a sustaining noise level equivalent to a rock concert to noise levels consistent with a library. Most importantly, now that we can learn.
Not only is our product effective, but it is relatively inexpensive. We solved our problem for a cost of less than $500. The Noise Busters panels consist of 4 materials: wood framing, foam, canvas, and carpet. The cost of one panel is less than $50. We believe we can sell this product for $99.56. This implies a markup of 100%, a profit margin of $50 per unit, and a gross margin of 50%.
As you can tell, we're not exactly business people. We're in the 4th and 5th grade. But from what we understand, 50% margins are very attractive, just like me. So, who are you gonna call?
Noisebusters!
Are you kidding me? Let's give it up for our Dalton Public Schools presenters. Hey, Trip, does it feel to you like entrepreneurship is alive and well in our community?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You guys can now go vote for your favorite K-12 pitch. Slido.com, PitchDia, go vote for your favorite K-12 pitch. You guys want to talk about some winners? You ready to announce some winners? How about you, Trip?
Oh, yeah. Money.
All right. We're going to start money. Come on, Trip. All right. We're going to start with our third place winner. Our third place winner tonight is Music Book. DeMarcus, come on up. Congratulations, DeMarcus. We appreciate you being here. I have a big check for you somewhere, but I don't know where it is. We'll give it to you. Trip, who's our second place winner?
Our second place winner is Elite Lineman.
Waylon, come on up. Congratulations, man. Appreciate you being here. The winner of our best booth competition. They actually got more votes than we had people here tonight, so I don't know how that happened, but Life, come on up. Right down here. The checks arrived. There you guys go. Congratulations. Come on over. Good job, guys. We got really big trophies.
Bigger than me.
There you go, DeMarcus. Yeah. All right. There you go, Waylon. Okay. Trip, who's our winner for K-12 competition?
Our winner for K-12, I've worked with them before, I've talked with them. I've even got a sample. Boom Bomb.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Let's give a hand to all these folks. They all worked hard. You ready for our grand prize winner? $5,000 goes to our winner. And our first place prize tonight, second annual Pitch Dia competition, goes to Critterbox. Come on down. Congratulations. All right, guys. This concludes our second annual Pitch Dia competition. We appreciate you coming out to help celebrate all these wonderful entrepreneurs from our community on stage. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause and have a good evening.